It's been 5 years since we've heard from ISIS leader Abu Bakr al Baghdadi. But last night, the Islamic State posted a new video online where he praised the recent violence in Sri Lanka and took responsibility for the attacks. Joining us to discuss, former Pentagon official Mike Maloof. Mike, first, are you surprised to be hearing from al-Baghdadi, and why now? He's been silent for 5 years. I mean, what's the significance of this timing?
Well, the significance is that he is announcing a new phase. I think that that video release was to show we're going to another level, and it's basically announcing the insurgency that he has been long contemplated since he's now lost the physical caliphate. And as I've pointed out in earlier segments, this makes him even more dangerous. And I might add that ISIS has metastasized in some 30-odd countries. He's shifting operations. He's aligning with militant groups in large territorial areas from North Africa, Africa itself, to Southern Asia now. I mean, the fact that we have Sri Lanka blowing up, and that's indicative. And we also see ISIS picking up into the Philippines and all that. So East-South Asia is becoming a new front very, very rapidly.
So in the video, he acknowledged the loss of the physical caliphate and vows to continue the ideological war. You've said many times, just as you did a moment ago, this is more dangerous than having a physical caliphate. So how then does the U.S. and the allies tackle an ideological war?
Well, it's going to be extremely difficult because he still has the strength of the internet, and his people are very technically inclined, and they're getting just as we saw with recent developments, even in this country. I think a soldier, a former Marine, was just arrested, was indoctrinated, became a Muslim, and now pledged allegiance to ISIS.
The guy in California?
Yeah, the guy in California, and now he was picked up, luckily, before he wreaked havoc. I mean, this is what's going on, and we're going to be seeing this in greater numbers, particularly outside the U.S. It's going to happen more outside because they're not as organized. The other problem, from a policy perspective for the United States, is that we're shifting away from counterterrorism. We're looking more toward big adversarial groups like Russia, China.
Yeah, they're looking at Russia.
Yeah, we're looking at that again. It's because that's our comfort zone. It's apparently because we fought that war for 50 years, and that's what our policymakers are comfortable with, as they have demonstrated. Yet we have this other element. We not only have ISIS, but we also have Al-Qaeda that's rising. So it's not just dealing with the ideology of ISIS, also Al-Qaeda, and even though they may think similar, their methodologies are a little different.
Yeah, Al-Qaeda called ISIS even more gruesome or grotesque than they would go.
That's right, but yet it's all part of the same mix, and to deal with that ideology, it means that we're going to have to be much more, the United States and other countries, particularly countries that are concerned about it, like Russia, are going to have to team up. And start working it. Yeah, and work together.
That.
Yeah, I mean, whoever thought?
Now, Ramadan, Mike, is just a few days away. It falls in the springtime this year. And as I've learned from you over the years, spring is the time for armed conflict. And given the recent spate of religious violence across the globe, just this year alone, do you anticipate more ISIS attacks over the Ramadan holiday?
Oh yeah, in fact, that's when they hit generally, is during Ramadan, because everybody else is doing their sacrifice and things are supposed to be low, but that's the time that they pop up. Taliban does the same thing. They've announced their spring offensive, so it's all coming together now because it's springtime, as we pointed out, and Ramadan is a little early this year, but it's not going to deflect them from doing these attacks and what have you.
And over in Ankara, last thing here, they claim to have arrested 22 people with suspected links to ISIS, 17 Iraqis, they say, and 5 Syrians. Now, Anadolu Agency, the state-run TV station, they didn't elaborate on the charges against these guys, but say they were in Turkey illegally and were acting on behalf of ISIS. That's all they would say. Is this really just kind of a dog and pony show, though, given the fact that you and I have discussed this before for years now, that Turkey has somewhat facilitated ISIS's weapons, oil, they've let them pass through.
Sure.
So now they're arresting these guys. Suddenly they care about ISIS?
It's just a show, because they also need, Turks are continuing to work with jihadi militant groups, whether they're ISIS. I mean, at some point they all blend together, and it helps with Turkey's narrative and agenda, particularly towards Syria. No, they're not going to give up. And I might add that Turkey is also going to have another issue very, very shortly with the United States, and it's going to push us even further apart from Turkey. And then this is a little separate, but U.S. wants to put Muslim Brotherhood on the terrorist list. That Erdogan, the president of Turkey, is a big backer of the Muslim Brotherhood, and that's not going to go down very well. And that might be another reason why he may start leaning more toward helping these militant groups, notwithstanding this little show that he just did of 22. But they apparently didn't, they must not have paid some taxes or something, I don't know, or paid the right fee.
They're in there illegally.
They're there,
they
illegally.
Didn't have a visa, I guess.
As all of them are.
Well, a lot of moving parts, as always, over in the Middle East.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us, Mike Maloof.
Pleasure.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.